Presented by Captain Morgan. Please drink responsibly.
Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. You're in New York today, Tony. Are you enjoying yourself?
I'm Tony Kornheiser. Yes. Earlier today, I learned I am not the father.
Whoa,
how great is that?
DNA. Your
how great
DNA
is that, huh?
has proven you are not the daddy.
I'm not the daddy.
Okay. Do you have one of those specially made Scotty Cameron putters that says, I am not the daddy?
No, only Maury has the putter.
Room has that.
Somebody in this room right now, Maury has the putter that says I am not the daddy.
Well,
absolutely.
Maury's, got that low handicap. Welcome to PTI. In today's episode, could Antonio Brown be the MVP? Should the Orioles trade Manny Machado? And how much better does Kawhi Leonard make the Spurs? But we begin today with the Patriots' stunning loss to the Dolphins in Miami. Okay, maybe this shouldn't be so shocking since Brady's career record in Miami is 7-9, and the Patriots have lost 4 of 5 there. But it was the feeble nature of the loss that's hard to shake. Brady was 0 for 7 passing to convert on third downs, and the team was 0 for 11 in those situations. And at least one Dolphins player was quoted afterward as saying Miami's collective will was stronger than New England's. Ouch. Tony, do you see this as a fluke loss, or do the Patriots have more to worry about than that?
It's so wonderful that you did the lead on that and you set it up in such a negative way, because you know that I differ from you on our stance about where the Patriots are. I've always been more cautious. I've always been less optimistic than you. I don't have that view that you do, Mike, that Coach Hoodie, as you call him, automatically walks out on the field and they win every game. Look, Brady was not good in this game at all. Yeah, he was lousy. I look at it this way. He's thrown interceptions now in 3 straight games, and that is slightly worrisome to me, but only slightly. What is much more worrisome, and you'll appreciate this, is they made Jay Cutler look like a great quarterback.
Yes, they did.
Okay, so what kind of defense are you depending on that is making Jay Cutler look great?
Tony, yet you are right on everything you said in your little preamble there. I am saying this is a one-off because I cannot accept that the New England Patriots, they looked lazy last night. They looked listless. Tom Brady wasn't just inaccurate. The passes were skipped in like he was throwing cutters to his receivers. Tony, I looked at it and I just thought, wow, did they all get some sort of Kornheiser sleep drug on the way down to Miami on the flight? So I still believe, yes, that Coach Hoodie and Brady will scream and holler and rant and rave and study and just bore their way out of this game, and it's a one-game deal.
So it's not that I think it's just a one-game deal, but I will tell you this, that even if they had won, the home field in the AFC was going to come down to next week in Pittsburgh anyway. They were going to have to win. The winner of that is going to get home field.
Looks like
What's good for the Patriots are 2 things. Gronkowski comes back, and he's an open target, and the Patriots have beaten them 4 times in a row.
4 in a row. And Tony, a week of Belichick after last night? There's no way I'm betting against the Patriots now. No chance. Not next week.
Here's a sidebar to that game. Tom Brady struggled, obviously. He's an MVP candidate. Carson Wentz out for the rest of the season, MVP candidate. Russell Wilson was picked 3 times on Sunday, MVP candidate. Wilbon, in the absence of those candidates, would you vote for Antonio Brown for MVP?
I don't know if I'd vote for him.
No wide receiver has ever won this.
That's right, Tony.
He's on pace for 120 catches and 1,850 yards. Antonio Brown?
I'm not ready to hand over my vote yet, but I could. And by the way, in researching this, and I'm sure you've had this feeling too, weren't you shocked that Jerry Rice didn't win this award in 1987?
Yes.
Oh, my God, he had 22 touchdown receptions that year in only 12 games.
But, Mike, you're the one who says all the time it's a quarterback league, and the MVP's a quarterback deal.
Tony, I'm going right now. The name I wrote down is Russell Wilson. I know he had 3 picks. I get that. If it's not Brady, it's still Brady and Wilson to me in some order. And Brady had a bad game. Anybody's going to have a bad game. Antonio Brown hasn't had every game be a great game. But, Tony, he's also playing with Roethlisberger. He's playing with Le'Veon Bell, who might get some votes as well. So I'm not ready to give it to Brown, but I'm not excluding him. He's the best receiver in the league.
So what's interesting about this is my natural inclination would be to say to give it to Ben Roethlisberger because he's the one throwing the ball to Antonio Brown. But Ben Roethlisberger this year, I want to get this straight, he's got 13 interceptions already, which is the third high in the league, which is not to say if he has a great game against the Patriots and they win out, that he wouldn't get it. I always look for one of those backs who runs the ball and catches the ball, like Todd Gurley, right? Like Le'Veon Bell on the same team, like Melvin Gordon. Those people have a lot of touchdowns. I'm inclined to people like that more so necessarily than wide receivers. But in the end, it could end up being Phillip Rivers or Drew Brees and all the quarterbacks we've mentioned already, except for Wentz, because if you get your last 3 to 4 games and you're great, you sway the voter.
Yeah, you know what, Tony? That game, the New England-Pittsburgh game, really could sway a lot of things. Not only home field, but it could give a little push, over the pile to one of the guys you just mentioned. There must be so little to do down in Orlando at baseball's winter meetings. I say that because Tom Verducci, the absolute ace reporter for SI and Fox, is reporting that Yu Darvish's beatdown in the World Series could be a result of pitch tipping, according to an Astros player. Apparently, the smoking gun is that Astros hitters swung and missed only twice on 48 sliders and cutters and hit 556 off those pitches. Tony Darvish is a free agent. Would the ease of correcting that flaw, pitch tipping, make you more inclined to sign him?
Okay, so Darvish was terrible. He didn't get out of the second inning in the World Series. 2 starts, right? He didn't get out of the second inning. That batting average of 556 against breaking balls is astonishing. I mean, you can't pitch in the minors if that's what's going to happen. So if I heard this about pitch tipping, I would have 2 reactions. One would be great scouting on the part of the Astros. Absolutely great scouting.
Absolutely. That's my reaction.
Applaud them. And the second thing would be, if I didn't like Yu Darvish, I wouldn't care about this. I would say, who cares what happened? He can't pitch. If I did like Yu Darvish and I was inclined to give him some money, I was, okay, this is the golden key right here. This is why it happened, and I will still give him money.
But, Tony, we have so many excuses. We did a story or two during the postseason, I can't remember what juncture exactly, about how slick the balls were. And nobody could throw sliders. So what is it? I mean, did he have a fever? Did he have a boo-boo? Did he have a bad cold? Did he have a bad batch of avocados that he went Tom Brady recipe on? I mean, stop it. I had a Hall of Fame catcher once tell me that on an off day, his job was to try to find out if he could note some pitch tipping. It doesn't. I'm
going to tell you something,
You could know what Nolan Ryan was going to throw for 20 years, and you still couldn't hit it.
2 things stand out. One is if you saw Darvish in the games leading up to the World Series, his curveballs and sliders broke as if they were wind-aided. They broke 5 feet. And the second thing that I would point out is, how could the Dodgers not know this? How could they not know this?
Tony, maybe he wasn't pitch tipping. Maybe it was just bad execution.
I'm willing to believe
maybe he had a blister or a boo-boo.
No, I'm willing to believe that they got something.
Bad avocados.
Kenny Rosenthal, speaking about baseball, Kenny Rosenthal is reporting out of the baseball winter meetings that the Baltimore Orioles are aggressively trying to trade their young star infielder, Manny Machado. Machado, who hit 33 homers and drove in 95 runs in a down year, is under contract only until the end of the 2018 season, and the Orioles are convinced they will simply lose Machado to free agency, so they're looking to get starting pitching in return for Machado. Wilbon, do you understand what the Orioles are doing?
No. He's been their best player. He's 25 years old. He can play third base or shortstop. He's saying he feels more comfortable as shortstop. So, no, Tony, every year this happens to a lesser degree where people, because a guy only has 2 more years or his salary's higher than they want to spend after they signed him, they want to dump the best player on the team.
He's the best.
Now, the Orioles have had some crazy issues where the owner doesn't sign off on what the general manager is doing. I mean, they've had this stuff going on for a long time. But no, getting rid of Machado, no. But I got a soft landing spot or 2 for him, and I'm sure you have some suggestions, too.
Well, I mean, I think Machado is a great player, and I remember having this discussion with you during the middle of last season, and I love Bryce Harper, and I said I would trade Bryce Harper even up for Manny Machado because I think he's got a tremendous amount of years left, and he doesn't get hurt. He's reliable. He's there every single day. But I said this the other day, and I'm going to repeat it. This is in the wake, rather, of Stanton signing with the Yankees. And you know that the Red Sox are going to move heaven and earth to compete with the Yankees financially.
Yeah.
And where does this leave the Orioles? And where does it leave the Blue Jays? And where does it leave the Rays in that particular division? Look at these. Listen to these names, Mike. Okay, Stanton, Judge, Machado, Harper, Trout, and your boy Bryant. These guys are going to get unbelievable contracts the next time around.
Yeah.
And I could see baseball becoming the land of the rich and the land of the poor.
But aren't the Orioles a rich team, even though it's a slightly smaller market? Why aren't they?
I don't think
Tony,
they are.
The Rays aren't, but Toronto has to be. Toronto's what, the fourth largest city in North America? Don't tell me they're a small market because they're in Canada.
I think that the rich teams gobble up the other teams, and what you have to do is have greater scouting to sign guys young and keep them for 5 or 6 years, because then you lose them.
But if you get rid of Machado, seriously,
I wouldn't trade him.
Trading him in at all.
No, it's a great player.
Kawhi Leonard's name, for the first time this season, has been written into the lineup for the San Antonio Spurs. Tonight is his season debut. After missing all 27 games this season and those final 4 games of the Western Conference Finals that they lost because of an injured quad. Now, here's where stats lie like a rug. The Spurs have gone 19-8 this season and 33-12 without him the last 2 seasons. So, Tony, do you see the Spurs with Leonard being worse than, better than, or right with the Warriors and the Rockets?
Kawhi Leonard is one of the best 5 or 6 players in the league. So the Spurs are going to be a lot better, even though when I look at them, I see a team that's trending older, and I don't see that with Golden State. I would remind you that last year when Leonard was healthy, LaMarcus Aldridge was not as good as they thought he was going to be. And I wonder if the effect of Kawhi Leonard going back has a deleterious effect on LaMarcus Aldridge. And this is something I don't know. But if you ask me specifically about Golden State, I think they're the best.
They are the best.
I mean, I just think they're the best.
But there's another team in that question, and I'm going to address that a little bit.
Okay.
First of all, I don't care what the damn stats say. If anybody thinks that the Spurs would rather say, oh, no, we'll let Kawhi go play for somebody else.
Oh, no, that's crazy.
Because we're 33-12 without him.
No,
okay, that would be stupid.
Crazy.
All right, so throw them out of the room, if not the country. Okay. Now, Kawhi Leonard may be the best two-way player in the league. And if he's not, he's one of the 2 or 3 best. Throw Kevin Durant, because they're having another great season in there. They're not as good as the Warriors, but Tony, need I point out, they were up 25 points on the Warriors in Oracle.
And they collapsed.
With Kawhi Leonard when he got hurt. Now, I mean, if people can't look at this and see, and they're better than Houston. You know why? Because Houston hasn't won a championship, and Kawhi Leonard has. Chris Paul, you know I love Chris Paul. Hasn't done that. James Harden, great. Hasn't done that. Mike D'Antoni, great coach. Hasn't done that. So they have to catch the Spurs, not the other way around, talking about Houston.
And I give you all of that, but I still look at the Warriors as a team that...
You and me both.
It serendipitously has understood how basketball is played right now and plays it better than everyone else. Just they're better. They're better. All right.
Let's take a break. Coming up, which AFC West team do you trust more? The Chargers or the Chiefs?
And is it possible that the Pacers actually won the Paul George trade? Toss up is next.
You think anybody out there's looking at those stats saying why Leonard?
Are you in my chair? Are you in my chair?
No, I moved my chair in here in your spot. I don't like your chair.
Get out of my spot.
I don't like your chair.
Pardon the Interruption is presented by Captain Morgan. Holiday like a captain. Please drink responsibly. Part of Happy Hour.